Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first QualiWare user group meeting for 2026. Very exciting. We have a exciting agenda for you guys today for the first user group meeting. So today on our agenda, we have CloseReach news with Kevin. Kevin's going to go through a few updates for us, new things going on here, and a little recap from the December user group meeting, very brief. Then we're going to do our feature presentation for today, is an AI governance solution that the CloseReach team has developed in QualiWare, and Bruce Annis will be taking the reins for that. We have Kuno Bergerson joining us from QualiWare to talk briefly about what QualiWare has got planned for the coming year. And then, of course, we have the opportunity for our open forum. So I will hand things over to Kevin to get us started.
So the other day I heard somebody say, well, it's still January, so I can still say Happy New Year. So Happy New Year to everybody. And, our first meeting, it's great to be back. In terms of news, we have a product update. You're going to see our AI governance solution, which Bruce is going to show you immediately, after this, and talk about sort of some of the dashboard items that we've built and why we put them together the way that we have. Looks like we're planning on attending the IIBA Building Business Capabilities Conference coming up in April, and we'll also be back at Apex again this year. So that's, I believe, end of May, perhaps the first week of June. So we'll be at a number of different shows. The Building Business Capabilities show is April 20th to 23rd, and it's in Toronto, if anybody has the opportunity to go. I think Roger Burleton will be speaking there as well. He's actually one of the organizers of the conference. So bit of a recap from December. 10.10.1 patch came out in December. And there's been 6 customers who, sorry?
I just realized that I didn't put the right version of that slide up. I apologize. Go ahead, Kevin.
There you go. Okay. We have 6 customers who've downloaded it. So there's a number that have not as yet. So, if you want to, it's on our download site. And if you have an issue or don't have access to that, or your password has expired, just generate a support ticket and we'll get you reconnected with that so you can download the 10.10.1 patch.
Stop wasting money on these. Buy large hydrocolloid patches and cut them to size and stuff. The ordinary. 9 out of 10. Love it for a flaky.
Somebody's got something running in the background.
Yeah, I just fixed that.
There you go. Okay. In terms of learning services updates, we have a few changes. So we've updated our QualiWare Basic web course to 10.10, and it's scheduled to run in the next 2 months. So it will have the new desktops and screenshots and everything in the course materials. So if you have someone who wants to learn about the latest release, instructor-led, interactive training, we've updated that course. We also have pre-recorded some course offerings. So we will have, actually we've been working on Governance Workflow Engine. It'll be our first self-paced course, so on demand. You don't have to wait for a course to run, and we're doing our QLM and Publisher course will follow shortly. So if you go onto the training part of the CloseReach website, you should find the GWE self-paced learning. You'll also find some throughout the website and in the support portal, some micro learnings. So these are small little vignettes, kind of like the things, you see about Canadian history stuff, only ours is about QualiWare. explaining how to do certain things. But we have 2 new products, instructor-led. One is instructor-led, the other's recorded, and they're available on our website. So this is just-in-time learning. If you took the course a while ago, you can't remember what you learned, there's a new way to refresh yourself on content. And again, there's both instructor-led and recorded versions of that. And we're launching our Ask the Architect session. So that's happening in 2 days. So it's a lunch and learn. I believe if you go on our website, you can register for that. And this is a way for our customers to engage with enterprise architecture experts and gain some insights. So it's not training, it's not coaching, it's, hey, I'm trying to do, well, it is kind of a bit of both, but I'm trying to do this, or if I have this kind of thing to do, what would be the best way to model that in QualiWare? And so our architects will be online to provide some answers. So if you can avail yourself of that. If you have things that you want to cover in future sessions, and we'll be running this on a monthly basis, so you can send us an email to training@closereach.ca. And we'll slot it in the agenda and make sure that we've got something to cover that. So an architect or a QualiWare expert to cover that particular question or topic. So, and like I said, Wednesday, if you go to the website, you should find a link right there. For those who missed the December QualiWare user group meeting, and the various beverages in our office, we covered 10.10.1 patch details, the pie chart and query combination, the 10.10 new feature. There was some enhanced management views that were presented and displayed, taking advantage of the new 10.10 capabilities, as well as business impact analysis using QualiWare that we put together. And there's a link here. I think Cecile will drop this in the chat. But if you go to our YouTube, we've done something with our older user group sessions as well, is that we've actually pulled pieces of them out and given them their own video. So you don't have to sit there and go, which user group meeting was that topic covered in? Go in, look at the agenda, go to the next month, etc., etc. We've pulled out a lot of the key presentations, and they're now out there as individual videos. So a lot more content there for you to check out. And you put the link in the chat, right?
I will. Yep, I will put it in as soon as you're finished because I'm presenting right now.
Yep. So that's all I have, unless anybody has any other questions.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Oh, actually, there is actually one other thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the Government of Canada has recently come out with a directive on coaching. You cannot buy coaching services using a credit card any longer. And people were using coaching from us, to refresh training and things like that. So what we've done is we've actually put out a new training product. It's session-based. It will use the same slides and things like that from our CourseWare. So it is training, not coaching, and it will be instructor-led, but in 30-minute chunks rather than a 2 or a 2 or a 3-day session. So wanted to make you aware of that. That's on the website, and you can buy different numbers of sessions, and they can be used by different individuals. but it will be based on the training materials that we use in our other instructor-led training. So wanted to make you aware of that. And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. I will pop the link to the December user group meeting in the chat once I'm no longer presenting. And also I'll put my email address in there. If you're interested in the Ask the Architect series, you can just send me an email and I'll include you in the invitation, which has gone out for Wednesday at noon. Okay, so I wanted to hand this over to my colleague, Bruce Annis, who's one of our senior business analysts. Bruce is based in our Halifax location. So he will be pinch hitting for Carol today, as I mentioned earlier. So Bruce, I will hand it over to you.
That's great. Thanks, Cecile. And yeah, as everyone knows, Carol had a baby today, so hopefully everyone can drop them a note of congratulations. We spent quite a bit of time before Christmas developing this solution. As we all know, artificial intelligence is moved beyond any pilot phase anymore around the world. It's into full-blown production. I mean, we're using it from everything for helping us make decisions, first contact with clients. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I mean, we're all very familiar with it. So we realize that, you know, organizations need help in tracking AI that exists within their organizations, things coming down the pipeline. What are the different use cases? What are the different safeguards that may need to be put in place? So we came up with a solution to help guide some teams and organizations on this journey, to help them manage the risk, because this is very much a risk-based solution to help identify high risk, low risk, what are our high impact, kind of make some decisions around this. And you'll see that's a lot of the framework we have developed is around this. So they need to demonstrate the ability for accountability. They need to be able to they need the ability to be audit ready, because this stuff has to be revisited time and time again against policies. So that's what we tried to put in here, to provide some of these benefits. And on the benefits, we've developed the desktop at one place, a one-stop shop for everything that we think you might need. First of all, you need to register what are the AI systems you have today, who owns it. You need to have traceability of the approvals. You need to know, is it being approved, where in that approval cycle it is. So that's one of the big benefits that I think this provides. A way of structuring risk and mitigating the risk with some of the controls. Again, this is a largely risk-based assessment and risk-based approach in the AI. So how do we document, track, and control this risk? And again, I already mentioned before, for providing evidence for audits, traceability against approvals against the existing policies that we have. All of that is very important. And all this aligns with that we've done with some of the, such as the ISO 42101, kind of the AI governance framework from a management perspective, and how, using that in consideration with how we develop this. If you go to the next slide, please, Cecile. We identified when we did this, what are the kind of the common use cases we think that any organization, would be a starting point for them. We know we need an AI inventory. We need a standardized way of intaking requests for AI, and how do we assess and how do we apply risk to it for approvals. We need to, track the risk and how the risk changes over time and how the controls may have to adapt. We need to show how the process was set in place are in line with internal standards and policies. And if there's gaps, we need to identify these gaps. And, where things are changing all the time, how do we reassess and make sure that those gaps don't exist? We need a way of capturing incidences. If there's a problem with our AI or there's something, we need to be able to record incidences on these. And first and foremost, you're trying to connect AI to your business, your enterprise architecture. I mean, why do you need AI? Well, it's to help you with your business and the architecture of business. So we want to make sure that helps you connect that seamlessly to get the most benefits out of it that you can. And in providing what we've developed some core capabilities here. There's the inventory and life cycle visibility, so you can see the intake. You can see the intake, the different stages that it'll go through in the assessment to approval or in some cases denial or rejection of that particular AI model. We want the assessments and the governance workflow. We want a repeatable onboarding process. We want a process that you're repeatable all the time. It's the same steps to repeating to get to that approval or denial. Monitor, again, documenting risks and controls and monitoring these on an ongoing basis, and compliance reporting. So you're developing your AI against, in all likelihood, a lot of your internal policies. So you need to make sure that what is happening actually aligns up with your internal policies. So you can go to the next slide, Cecile, but I'm going to take over presentation here because I'm actually going to go to the desktop now. This is the desktop that we've developed, and it's still, to a degree, it's still a work in progress. I mean, a lot of the governance that we talked about, from end to end, it's still under development. So this is a lot of, if the art of the possibility, and we didn't know how far to take this down because it may not be the exact way that your organization would do it. So it's showing to a point where you can go with this and helping build out that governance, and a final solution would be easy enough. It's just we didn't at this point go quite all that far down. You can see we've created this first dashboard is our AI registry system. So this is just a snippet of the data. There's a larger one I'll show you later on, but this is a list of the AI systems that we have were either approved or have been submitted for approval, or in some cases have been rejected that you'll see. Here's the AI system, the purpose of the AI, the model, the impact. So this is going to be when I show you the governance piece. The impact is very important because the impact, if it's an impact 1 or 2, it branches off and goes a little different as far as an assessment than if it's a higher impact of a 3 or a 4. So this shows you it's been approved. This particular one has been submitted. I think the rejected one is a little further over. You can see we even have a rejected one for whatever reason. This one was rejected, didn't fit the policies that are in place, or the risk wasn't mitigatable, or something to that effect. The data sets that are implicated, and the associated applications. So we said, this is augmenting your existing architecture and your systems. So this is showing, what are the systems that are impacted with the AI that we have in place. And it may not always be a system, it may be processes as well. And we have a list of the impacted processes down here as well. So first thing I'm going to go to now is our standards. So this is the Canadian government. We attempted to build kind of a base model. It's a fairly simplistic model because you can go into this will become very deep, but we kind of kept it simplistic, as high level as we could. It's why it says base model here. So this is for the government of Canada. This is our interpretation of the documentation that's out there about the government of Canada's policies and frameworks around their AI. And I just want to make sure that that's clear that it's our interpretation, because we did a lot of research to come up with this. So there's actually 8 components for this framework. You've identified the use case. You've got to conduct an impact assessment, the IAI, and from that you'll determine, is it impact 1, 2, 3, or 4. If the impact is 3 or 4, then it has to go through this peer review process beyond the initial impact. And I'm going to kind of go into each one of these in a minute, but it goes into a peer review. So I think another group will try and poke holes in the assessment, especially if it's a higher risk, and public notification. So this is one where if it's a 3 or a 4 is the impact, that there's notification that needs to go out to any impacted parties that result from a decision or for information that comes from AI. They're clearly identified that the decision that has been made has been augmented by AI, and if you feel that this isn't right, this is how you progress with your concerns. And I'll show you just a sample of the template of the notification that will go out based on that. And then there's implementing safeguards. So, no matter what impact it is, there would be safeguards that would have to be implemented to kind of protect and make sure things are in accordance to the way they should be, and protection of the information that's being accessed and delivered by the AI. Then there's the actual deployment of the AI system. Continuous monitoring. So this one is big. You want to find if there's any, again, drift detection. If things are starting to drift outside of the intent of the AI, then this is the continuing monitoring has to be in place to make sure that controls that have been put in place come into effect to make sure that drift stops. And then there's the annual compliance review. So there's always there's constant review of here's our policies. There may have changed. There may be new policies added, and are the AI decisions that we've made and approved still compliant with these policies that we have in place? So if I just go into the identify the use case, and you'll see in every one of these components, it outlines from 1 to 7, the purpose of this particular component, how it's used, who should do what triggers this component, evidence-based artifacts. So, whatever you do, you make sure you document the evidence that you've collected to satisfy this particular component. What are the outcomes and measures? And what are the fail patterns and warnings? And it's just right now, the way it's designed, it's just information. If you're wondering, when and who and how and what, that's what this is designed to do. And for all of those 8 components, it's laid out the same way. Now we do have in this one, we're identifying the use case. We're providing a list of all existing use cases that exist in our inventory. And over here on the right is the existing models that are attached to the use cases. So in submitting a request for a new AI system, you've got to identify the use case. And if there's no use case, then you'd have to provide a new use case that doesn't exist in the inventory. Back. Sorry, I didn't want to do that. So then step 2 is the second component. So ideally, there'd be governance that would be in this identify use case. And I'm going to go back for a second to our registry system. So this is a listing of all our AI systems. So if you need a new one added, whatever department, whoever do it, you would enter information on the AI system, who owns it, identify the use case, and this would be submitted to someone as part of the governance. And once I submit the use case, in someone's to-do list would be they would have to conduct the impact assessment as the framework indicates. And I go into the frame, and I go into the impact analysis. Same thing. It's the purpose, how it's used, who should use it, when is it triggered, what's the artifacts, the evidence, the artifacts, the outcomes, and then we've got a list of surveys from 1 to 13. We couldn't put them all in one great big template. It was too much, so Anthony had to break these out into different sections. But these surveys are going to ask a whole slew of questions that the person who receives the to-do list is going to have to go and answer all of these questions. So IT security can go and assess, well, is this high impact, low impact? What are the risks, to be able to approve the use for this AI? Any questions to this point? I know it's pretty deep, pretty dry, but does anybody have any questions?
Not at this point, Bruce. I'll let you know. I'll keep
Yeah,
an eye.
okay. So once, yeah, in this
Oh,
assessment.
Walter, did you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have a
go ahead.
question which
Sure.
you may be going to answer further on, but this tool looks very applicable to enterprise architecture and shared services Canada. We have a number of AI tools which would definitely benefit from this, even if it's only to put them into an inventory.
Right.
How do we get access to this tool, and who do we contact for it, and what's the cost and stuff like that? So how do we deploy this into GC?
We can follow up with you on that after the presentation, Walter. You know, there is some. This is a solution that we are actually selling, but you do
Yes.
have the licenses for it, which is great. So we can have a follow-up conversation afterwards. I'll reach out to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The idea of this is to hopefully, is this something that we can take, we built it in house, but is it something that truly is something that you can use? We can absolutely bring this over and build it out as much as you need it. So I feel that what we have is fairly high level and just kind of bare essentials, and in providing something that's going to be a full-blown solution. There's probably going to be a lot more detail in this that you'd want even beyond what we put in here. So understanding that. So we're just kind of, again, just trying to give you a flavor of what this can be.
Thank you very much.
And early adopters always get the best deal.
Always.
And also, I assume that this is QualiWare out-of-the-box system, right? The interface is what you're showing us, but in the end, we can build it right from the get-go, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is mostly configuration. Actually, I'm going to let you answer that, Bruce, because I'm not technical enough for it, but I understood that there was mostly configuration, but some customization, I think.
Well, it's so we've taken advantage of existing templates in our solution, and we looked at templates that you could build custom case maker templates that you need for this. We used one that was existing that made a lot of sense. It worked well for us. So in providing this solution for you guys, you may say, well, we don't think that the templates you've used would work quite well enough for us. We may want to do some customization from that perspective. So it would be very easy to replicate this as long as you knew and you made your changes. It'd be very easy to replicate this into something for yourself. So it would be let's sit and see what it is that you guys need and you guys need behind the scenes to make work best. And then putting this on top would be very easy. I mean, it really didn't, creating the information was probably one of the biggest for us, took the most time, but creating this solution as you're looking at it now really didn't take that much time, and it wouldn't be very hard to replicate it on your end if you needed it.
Where the analysis comes in, though, is we've used certain templates for certain things. In your metadata, your meta model, you might have used those templates for other things.
Yeah.
And again, you've got to reconcile that and figure out, can I be using it for two different purposes, or do I need something special? It's there is some analysis work. I mean, for the most part, deployment of this is a short services contract, and that's about it. So.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions before I go on? I'll go through these next parts pretty quickly here on the governance workflow or framework, excuse me. So the safeguards, we have the safeguards in place. Again, the same as everything. These all have the same look. The little different on this one is the safeguard. You're going to have safeguards are going to be a little more less stringent If your impact level is less than a 3, if it's 3 and a 4, your safeguards are going to be a little bit stronger, a little bit different. That's really the only difference. And this one is based on the impact level for this when you're creating your safeguards. You've got your deployment, how you're going to deploy the system. How you're going to deploy it. Is it going to be soft launch? Is it going to are you going to use it as a pilot first? So it discusses a lot of that information in those. Continuous monitoring, same idea. Who's going to do it? What's the reason? What's the triggers? What are the artifacts? And then our final one is the annual review. So these steps will be all kind of triggered from a governance workflow. Well, I should say the first 1, 2, 3, 4 will be governance workflow. We haven't built it out yet. I don't know if the safeguarding, the deployment, continuous monitoring, and the annual compliance, if it would something that you would want in a workflow. I'm not sure on that one because we didn't build one out.
We would typically, in this case, integrate some of the things that we use for compliance, for policy compliance, as well as for our ISO compliance, to a particular standard or certain types of information and gathering, so that we have that detail. But integrating, building this part out using information that we've already put together for our compliance-based products, pretty simple. So,
absolutely. And so where this is the standards, we have in here just above the standards, we've got our policies. So this will be something that you guys want to integrate into this. Here's our list of our policies, and this will drive a lot of your decision making on what you're going to want to do with the approval process and how you want your we call the surveys, but these surveys are really just questionnaires of the information you need to know for your risk and your risk modeling and your impact modeling. So these are policies that we can maintain right within this desktop. This AI registry is just a shortened version of kind of the full-sized one. So when I bring this up, this is just a larger version of the one that you're seeing on the screen. Has a lot more information: the system, the purpose, the model. I forget it's kind of the purpose of the model, the AI model, the type of model. So here's the impact. So this is the one that's really driving a lot of that governance framework. What's the impact? This one's a 4. Again, a lot of this is just made up information for the sake of showing you how this is. What's the impact? This is a 2, but it's got a risk level of high. These are approved. This one's been submitted. The system vendor or the system owner. Important here is the data sets. What data sets is this AI accessing? What type of data? Where is it? What's the sensitivity of data? That's one of the biggest risks of all this is, and the impact is what data, internal data is accessing, and what is it generating for us, and how is it touching that data, and where is it going outside? So that the data perspective of this it becomes a very, very important aspect in that evaluation. And then we say, sorry, I have to move my screen here to see the business process. So we have of all of the AI systems, what are the business processes that have been impacted here? So we've got, this is beyond, again, I think earlier I showed you the applications that were impacted, but these are the business processes that are touched and are used, that use or are using the AI system. So again, this one is just a smaller version, so it'll fit of the larger master list. Now this is kind of cool. JR, you actually asked me, is this? Oh, something just changed on me here. Okay, you asked me, JR, just before I started, if we're on 1010. So this is actually a 1010 feature now. So this pie chart is kind of representing some of the states that we have built. This wording is is actually not good. These green are all currently approved AI systems. So it says new, but these are actually approved. So the wording isn't very good there. It's off. And then we have this little slice here, and you see how the chart changes. And I think Krill is kind of in one of our user group meetings showed this, but this is a true to life version of this neat feature of 1010. This one is a triage. So this has been a triage. We're triaging the new requests. So someone submitted a request. Now it's waiting for someone to do something with those surveys. So it's sitting in that state. We have someone now is going this blue that I've highlighted. Someone's going through now and doing the assessment, going through those surveys, or there's a to do for somebody to do those surveys. And this red one this has been highlighted as a high impact AI system. So now it would have to go to a peer review. As I said, if it's 4 or 5, it would have to go to a peer review, and then it would have to go to a public notification. So it's in that ready for peer review mode right now for this particular one. Any questions before I move on? Nope.
I don't see anybody right now. Nope.
Okay, then we have an information handling in this dashboard. So this is all around data sets. Again, that's what I said is one of the most important thing is what is the data that's being impacted is probably the biggest risk we have, right? So this is just a list of the data sets that we know are being impacted by specific AI systems. And it's just the color coding classifies what the data is. It's restricted, classified, internal, open. What's the privacy level? And again, this is how we classified some of this data. This would be something that would be part of any implementation. What are the data sets you have? How do you classify them? So this is the type of stuff that we would have to work with you guys to understand your data, to be able to highlight this type of stuff, and who's the data owner. This risks and controls. So as we highlighted, this is a lot of all the decisions made here are really risk based. So we've got risks that have been highlighted. So this is the list of risks. You can see concerns. So these are specific. Let's see. There we go. So these are. Yeah, so these are systems where they've highlighted what some risk for these systems are. This isn't from this, we can create the heat map. As you can see below, based on those risks, we have a heat map that's been created based on the how high, low, or medium the risk is. So here's the better view. So here's our list of risks. Here's the significance of the risk. Whose response concerns you can have responsibility for the risk. So this is kind of our typical risk dashboard that we use, and that's all driven from the AI registry system.
And, sorry, may I add a suggestion here?
Yes, absolutely.
Interface related. When you go, for example, if you go to the AI risk impact, it's in the subquery.
Then here you
yeah. Can QualiWare add a label to make sure that people know where they clicked on? So, for example, AI risk impact would still be right under the AI governance desktop underlined. It's hard to explain in an email, but that can be good because when you're there, you need to know where you've clicked. So if you want to explain that view to someone, you can just add that label on top of that. It's a suggestion.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Yeah, that's perfectly valid. Yeah. Okay.
Hiding myself. Bye.
So from my perspective, that's most of what I wanted to show today. Does anybody have any questions, or does anybody want? I mean, there's all kinds of things I can, here's again the use case. Here's just a specific list of the use cases I had shown you earlier. Just in a dedicated report or a QRV. Does anybody have any other questions? Oh, we have excuse me.
We have Geeta has her hand up from ESTC. Geeta, go ahead.
Okay, Phil. So, actually, just the other week, we were talking about how we can input AI model into QualiWare, because the way we put our data is that all the COTS component, we put it under system software archivate, and all the ESCC own develop, we put it under application collaboration. And we were debating whether or not we should put AI model into one of those or create a separate template. But looking at this presentation, it looks like you guys have a different template for AI models. Is that right?
No, to be honest with you, we used an existing template and used it for AI. It was one that we aren't using for anything, so I believe it's information systems, and that's the one we took to use as for our AI registry system. Sorry, was that the question you were asking?
Okay, so yeah, so that was the question. So with the information system, I guess, is there any reason why you use information system? Is it because AI is close to data?
That was kind of the rationale, and a lot of our other templates had already been used for other things. So especially when it comes to the governance, you want to be careful. You can't have, the governance can only run for one template. You can't have it run multiple governance on one template. So we knew that this one was free. It was clear. There was nothing already attached to it. So that's why we used it. And again, yeah, I mean, it was close to the data side of things. So it just made sense right now. We didn't go through the effort of creating specific templates for this at this point. We just used what was already existing.
One thing we haven't done yet, and it's something that's I guess been on my radar a bit, is that for each of the cloud environments, Google, AWS, Azure, QualiWare has the ability to, and has all of the standard imagery, icons for all the different services, VMs, all those things. I haven't looked through them lately, since we've been working on this AI effort, to see whether there's an actual AI service documented, in those different icons. So that's one of the things that we will do, because that's another way to visually represent AI, but the necessary attributes that we make use of in information system are not necessarily there. So it may wind up being we may wind up stereotyping some of the attributes from the information system onto an AI icon, in those cloud images, or for on cloud diagrams, but we haven't explored that as yet. QualiWare is going to continue to evolve this, so I would expect to see additional templates come out. There are already attribute fields for AI, and I don't know whether you showed that, Bruce.
I didn't, and we certainly have taken advantage of some of those attributes in this, Kevin. I didn't know if I wanted to get into the weeds of showing that at this point or not.
Yeah, there is an attribute on
Do you want me to pull it up, or
Well, on a lot of templates now where you can specify that there's an AI interaction, because in the EU, they have to record every system, every process, where AI might be generating used or generating content. And so kind of tracking that information becomes critical for them now. And whether those standards get adopted here, not sure, right? I doubt very much if they'll be adopted in the US, but the EU standards for AI tracking, again, creation of content, usage of content, where it's linked, that kind of thing. That's QualiWare's already built some of those attributes into various templates. So that's something we can cover in a future meeting, if you'd like.
The other question I have is that this QRV that you have for the AI governance desktop on the top left with AI system purpose, AI model impact, is that a preset QRV that is readily available, or do we have to create that ourselves?
That's something.
No, that's one that we built for this. So it would be one that we'd have to work with you to get it up and running.
So it's available in 10.10.1?
No, this is a custom.
It's a custom
CloseReach, a CloseReach QRV that we've built as part of this solution.
Yeah.
So obviously it would be included, if we provide the solution to you. And again, you can create these things yourselves. It's a matter of how many resources you have and how much time it takes. And we've done a lot of the legwork already to figure things out. So.
Okay, and I noticed in the one of the components you have business process as the part of the AI thing. So this is not the question may not be related directly to AI, but inside the business process, there are some components that can be tied into system software or application collaboration. Have you guys created a business process that can auto-generate a diagram, perhaps, using the solution itself, or not?
Well, you can auto-generate diagrams right now based on text that you input, through the web interface. So it will. So if you've got, I can say we haven't tested, creating a model, because of, that is interacting with, with processes that interact with, some LLM or AI. But you can test that yourself with 10.9 or 10.10. If you have a process that involves AI, then you could feed that into the web interface of QualiWare, and it will generate a process model for you.
Okay. Yeah, I just checked our QualiWare content. It seems like the template information system, we already use it for something else, so we may not be able to use it for AI, but that would be a separate discussion with our internal team.
It would really just be working with you, determining. So if that template doesn't work, what other templates do you have that you don't really use that would be free again, or you can custom something. But what you see on the screen isn't attached to a specific template. So we could generate it from any template. As long as it was identified and it had enough attributes and the attributes that we needed to take up to use, we could pretty easily replicate this pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think I understand that. I understood that, but it's just like if you have something that's already made and it's actually working, and if we actually don't have it used, then we can probably replicate it, but unfortunately it doesn't work for us. Thank you.
Well, again, you may not be using the attributes that we've used. I mean, that's where some initial analysis needs to happen, right? You look at information system, there are numerous dialogues and lots of attributes. It's depending on how those attributes have been configured. So if it there may be room to use it the way we have because you're not using the specific attributes the way we have, or there may be some overlap and it becomes another choice in a drop-down field or whatever. So, but that's kind of metadata, meta modeling kind of work, analysis or data analysis to figure that part out. So.
Yeah, so we do have other things in the information system template that aren't related to AI, and within the QRV we just carved it out, put something specific within the template that would identify this as an AI record, and then we just put a filter in saying just give us the if it's equal to AI, and that's all that came forward. So we are actually using a template that's got it's used for multiple purposes.
I mean, because we used information system for this particular use case, our APM, our application portfolio management, which solution which focuses on the information system template, still runs. We don't have a conflict there. So again, analysis work that needs to be done, right? Somebody looking
Yeah,
at
what I would think would be useful for QualiWare users, like I know like we're already like in the mid work, like ESCC already use a different kind of templates altogether, but it would be nice if there is like an example of what templates you guys are using and for what purpose, like because QualiWare is big, like in order for us to be able to understand and actually make use of the template correctly for ESCC itself. Like for example, it takes 7 years and not all the templates is still being used. Like you know what I mean? Like not all templates are used. So if there's like a standard way of doing it, or an example of like an end-to-end example of what templates you use for what, that would be very useful. And then it will actually help create help provide like a linkage between departments to departments. Like if we are going to in the future, I'm not sure whether it's going to happen or not, if in the future we decide to connect all these QualiWare instances, if everybody's using the same template for same thing, then it is easy for us to interchange data, right? So just to put it out there, because then if everybody is like so free and they decided to use something else, then it's harder for us to collaborate back and actually do interoperability between departments. It's just a recommendation if there is any possibility of doing that.
So you actually have ESDC's been one of the departments that has taken our discovery repository solution. So you actually have an example right there that you can go into and look at using QLM or using the web interface for how all of the different use cases are created and what templates they're using. So in that discovery repository that you've acquired from CloseReach, that information is in that repository right now. So you could use that to again, most departments have been fairly standard in their use of typical templates like information system and the various data templates and process templates. I think the most divergent, let's use that word, divergent, has been CBSA, who created their own Archimate version of everything rather than using the QualiWare out-of-the-box Archimate templates. But for the most part, most departments run fairly standard template set. But again, the discovery repository, and Cecile, I don't recall who else has that right now among other departments.
CBSA.
Okay. So yeah, you and CBSA both have that that repository with all the use cases built out and can easily view the templates that have been used to satisfy them. In a new release of the discovery repository, there will be some of the elements that you see here in the governance framework. It won't be everything, but there will be some of the items here included in a new release of the discovery repository as well. So you'll get a little bit of it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, Bruce, any other questions from folks? All right, thank you. I unfortunately have some bad news to share in that Kuno is not able to join us. He sends his regrets. He is having technical problems and is not able to join us today. So he really does send his apologies. We will have to get him for the February meeting, which will be on the 23rd of February at the same time. And we'll make sure that he's able to attend at that point and provide us with an update on what QualiWare has got planned for the coming year. So I do apologize for that, folks. Unforeseen circumstances. We've been pretty lucky over the years with our attendees and not running into problems, but unfortunately this time looks like the gremlins got us. So sorry about that. If there's nothing else, we're going to wrap up for today. I got a number of messages from you, some of the attendees on here who were interested in that Ask the Architect series. It's a lunch and learn. It's 30 minutes at noon on Wednesday. Brenda Hines, who is one of our senior enterprise architects, is the person who will be handling the meeting. So you will be on with her. If you have questions that you wanted to submit ahead of the meeting, you can do so. My email address is in the chat. If you wanted to join the meeting, please also send a message to me and I'll include you in the invitation. It's not just about QualiWare, it's about architecture. So we're encouraging, discussion and architecture related questions. So thanks very much, everybody. Really do appreciate your time and attention today. If you have any questions at the end of the meeting, please feel free to reach out to any of the folks that you see on the screen, except for Kirill, who will be off for the next few days, enjoying being a new dad. I will follow up with those of you who've reached out about attending the Ask the Architect series and also about some questions about the AI governance solution that we just showed, and we'll take that outside this meeting. And otherwise, I wish you a good rest of your day.
Well, if anybody wants to hang on for a moment, I can show you the new training product that we have that talks about micro training. And you can see there's a new product here called QualiWare Micro Training. And it's instructor-led, small chunk lessons, targeted training focused on a specific skill or task. We're going to, sessions are structured around one or more selected topics. These are things that are normally covered in our discrete QualiWare courses: basic, web, advanced, casemaker, GWE, QCL, etc., etc. And you can see you can buy packages of hours, training sessions. So a little bit different than buying, a dedicated 2-day course, so you could buy 5 hours, split that up over 5 weeks. So again, select your training package, tell us the topics you want to get covered. We'll set up the sessions with guided practice, and you'll be left with repeatable steps and reference notes. And you've got 6 months to use the training sessions that have been bought, and these can be paid for on credit card directly off our website. It's not a substitute for scoped implementation or consulting engagement. Okay. So this is about training for specific skills or types of things that you're trying to do in QualiWare. So anyhow, I thought I'd just show that to you so that you can we're coming into year end. If you've got training dollars left, this is maybe a way to use those up. Anyhow.
All right. Okay. Thanks very much, Kevin. Thanks everybody for your time today, and enjoy the rest of the cold, wintry weather.